Good afternoon. My name is Daniel Young. I'm the owner and founder of Adaptive Perspective and the Adaptive Perspective channel here on YouTube, where I help you make your dreams a reality. If you've seen any of my prior videos, you know that I love strategy. I love targeted strategy. That awareness is key because I'm gonna continue sifting through these financial memes using our investment strategies along with some everyday down to earth common sense. So the, yeah, reminders. This is an unedited video. Who knows what you'll hear in the background as I film these in my house. These are not trimmed up. They're not beautified. They're just raw footage because I like raw, transparent, authentic footage. I have no plans of showing our closed-end fund system today. So hopefully, yeah, I say if I do, I'll show it, but I really have no plans to show it. And then I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a financial strategist, really just a strategist in general. So as I continue to go through these memes, I'm not out to slander anybody. For the most part, a lot of people took a lot of time making these financial memes. It's just not everybody is in it for your benefit. There are a lot of financial memes out there that are pretty and at the same time aren't worth their while past their being pretty. Um, so I'm interested in separating the good from the bad because nobody wants bad financial advice. So let's get into this. And in the event of, I'm saying the event of, my attempt lately has been to offer uh, a raw take of things. I mean, like I have a script up to this point. This is off script. Um, like I have a framework of what I want to say, but as I review these memes, it's not scripted. So I'm trying not to plan what I want to say in advance. So I'm not reading from a script, but I can also explain. Uh, this isn't straight live footage, but it's recorded and uploaded. But you see every mistake I make. You see and get all my comments afresh as I go. So it's not straight scripted. So let's get into this. So share screen. This is my page on Pinterest or my board on Pinterest, and I'm operating off of this board in particular, of which I have more memes to add. Uh, Great time about holidays is I get to be home and away from my full-time job, and people post a lot of advice, and not all of it is good. Um, at the bottom, so on that board, at the bottom of the board, not quite at the bottom anymore, but I'm going to actually look at two memes today and do a two for one thing. So we're going to look at this meme, $20,000 wedding versus $20,000 honeymoon, combined with this meme, which increases, I guess, or increases the projection of a wedding. So this one's just saying, what would you rather spend? 20 grand on a wedding or 20 grand on a honeymoon? And my vote would be neither. This one says the average cost of a traditional wedding is pretty much 34 grand versus you could elope for about $1,500. Now, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm just here to give you a different perspective and a different, hopefully, a different option. So if we use this data, the only thing I've done in advance is kind of think about the math. So if we take this option and we'll just ballpark it at 34 grand. If you hear that noise in the background, I have a cat shredding the carpet because he's frustrated. I'm not paying attention to him right now. So we'll say it's 34 grand minus the cost of an elopement. Oops, leaves you with that amount. So we'll tuck that away for a little bit later. So before we even get to your travels, wherever you would spend your honeymoon and how much you spend while you're there, What if you took the remainder, that 32.5, and you looked at starting a business, and instead of blowing 34 grand on your wedding, what if you took some of that money and you bought property with it? I mean, I could also say, um, I can give you another option of investing that into our closed-end fund system. So we'll say it's 32.5 is your elopement. So maybe you take, I mean, a Sandals resort for a week is probably in the ballpark of 10 grand. So we'll say 12.5 because that makes it an even number. Okay, so 12.5, right? That leaves you with 20 grand. Our closed-end fund system is currently gaining almost 10% a year. So I want to say it's 0.97 right now. Ooh, minus 0.097 is a year. By month, you're making about $160 a month. Now, is it a ton of money? No, but now you're making money instead of just burning all your money. And as you go, you grow the money. But let's get into real estate. So I know these numbers because we're looking for our first property. And as a married couple with a primary residence, our options are very different than somebody who is either unattached or a young married couple who are willing to make some sacrifices. Now, could we be willing to make some sacrifices? Yes, we could move out of our existing house and rent it and then do the same thing. But having a family and being um, committed and attached to our primary residence and where we currently exist, that's a little harder. Being unattached to a house and unattached to where you're living, and honestly, being able to have a little bit more freedom in your choices gives you a greater ability to buy property than us. So, if you're looking at a new duplex in a competitive market, like brand new PEX, the works, in a competitive market, you could start a business. That's $500 here in Texas, or at least that's what my tax guy charges. It's a little more if you do it. I think it's a little more or a little less if you do it on LegalZoom, but now you've given LegalZoom rights over your business, and I'd rather retain the rights of my business. So of this amount over here, so you start a business, and as an individual, it used to work both ways. Your business could buy it and you could buy it for the same rate. That's kind of changed. Between Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they're making it harder for individuals or new investors to buy property through a business. Um, so if you buy it as a business, the business loan rates have gone up. And some between one or the other, Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, one is not allowing you to buy money or buy property with a business and not allowing you to buy it in your personal name and then transfer it into a business. So if you buy it on your own, you can pay as little as 3.5 to 5% down. So to give you the pendulum or the margin, we'll do both. So 3.5% on 450,000 is 16,000, and times is 22.5. You could buy a duplex for as little as 23 grand, we'll say. Now, there's probably some closing cost in there. You're buying a new duplex, so it's not going to need any repairs. So we'll say between maybe, maybe 30. We'll say upwards of 30 to, forget, 16, like 20 to 30 grand in order for you to buy a duplex. So in buying the duplex, you're not going to hit the 20% down payment threshold, but that's fine. You'll pay a little bit more in insurance a month. And now you and your business's tenant, so your business is there, you're living there, which gives you the ability to get a lower loan. Your tenant is helping you pay the mortgage. Between the two of you, like if your tenant pays the mortgage and you pay nothing, now you're living for free in a sense. And if your tenant pays the bulk of the mortgage, now you're living there for a decreased cost because you're not paying the whole mortgage by yourself. And you do that for a year. And then a year and a, whether a year and a half, 2 years, however long you're there, to where you can build up enough equity to then buy another duplex. Now the first duplex has two tenants that are paying more than the mortgage, so you're making money. And you have the overall increase of property value, which goes into your own personal worth. And now you're at a second duplex, and you can do the same thing until you have enough duplexes cash flowing. Or maybe you want to do it in single family home, like find a home with a main level and then do a basement. The same idea. In Texas, we don't do basements generally. Maybe up in the panhandle with tornado risk, but generally most people don't have basements. So duplex is much more common. But let me pause this video and I can show you closing costs. That way I don't show you passwords and everything else. My cat, oh goody, the other cat is up. The other cat is a kitten, and he's a little more reckless. I don't know if he will make an appearance. Oh, he's trying to make an appearance, but we shall see. He wants attention too. He just woke up. All right, so I will share this view with you again. So I get distracted petting my cat. So we bought this from a guy called Rental Robert. But he makes the spreadsheet pre-coded and then you just put in the numbers. But we've also tailored it to our needs as well. So I'm pretty good at Excel, but I'm not an Excel or this is a XLS. Um, I'm not a giant guru of Excel, um, but we have adapted this a bit. So in the current market, most places are discounting closing costs. So your rate is looking at 6.5% ish. Your closing cost of the value of your property. So at a 3.5% rate, that is your down payment, right? Now you're adding 4,500 because that's 1% of the total. That makes your total capital, total investment at 31,400. So pending your desire, but we'll go back to that math. So we have this. Um, excuse me. So we have this left. So we have the business funded, you're eloping, right? And that easily clears that. It gives you $600 extra. But also in this amount of total capital needed, so your down payment is almost 16 grand. Your closing cost is about 4,500. Included in this amount is, and the way I've written the formula, is 5,000 emergency fund, built in for your business. So if something, if you, it's a brand new place, really shouldn't have an issue, right? But if something happens and you have to use your deductible, you already have the money there. It also has 3 months of rent included, just in case you cannot find the renter, because you'll be there. You could, I mean, yeah, you could shell out whatever the mortgage is, right? This is all fictional data off a different spreadsheet. That's why all of this is correlated to this. Um, we'll say that. So you could be paying that out of pocket. So would you rather be paying that out of pocket or nothing out of pocket, right? Or part of that out of pocket? But that's kind of the point. You could, excuse me, something changed, but I don't know. Oh yeah, because I changed the loan. So changing that number impacts that number. Um, my point is, I know I'm bouncing between things, but I'm looking at different Google profiles. My point is, all of us get so trapped into a specific way of thinking, right? Like I have to, and I'm not discrediting marriage. I'm married and happily married. It's I want to get married, but I have to throw this elaborate party. There's not a ton I remember about my wedding day. Like I remember different things, but the party side of things, like you have the wedding, and I remember a lot of that. The party afterward, the reception, I don't remember a ton of that because it was so fast paced and you don't really get to spend actual time with the people you really want to spend time with because most people invite a ton of people. It's not like you're just inviting your core group of friends, you're inviting all these people. One, because you don't want to offend any family, and two, because honestly, people invite 500 people because that's how many people they know, and they're hoping that at least four fifths of those, so 400 people, don't attend the wedding. They're hoping that those people send them like a $25, $50 gift card or buy something off their registry. So now you don't have to buy more stuff. Um, but you don't have to do that. Now, I'm not telling you what you have to and don't have to do. My point is, if you're thinking of dropping 34 grand on a wedding, you can drop 34 grand on a wedding. You can drop a lot more than that. But that's an average, right? So some is more, some is less. You can elope and go the like paper certificate, court marriage, spend a weekend here, and then have a lot more money. You could even go to sandals, those sandals resorts and spend 10 grand and still have a lot more money left over. But don't get trapped into spending things for just the one day. Look forward. If you really have that much money at your disposal, like if you've got 34 grand cash, don't buy a car unless you need one. Don't do this unless you need to, right? But look forward. And if you can buy property and increase your overall net worth, increase your ability to gain a passive income, to gain tax-free income, and then start a real estate business, now you have a much better overall investment. The wedding is its own investment. It's separate from the money. You're getting married to somebody that you want to get married to. Like that's an investment. The money, like there's money that relates to that, right? But the 34 grand on the wedding and the reception because you have to do it isn't a have to do it. It's not a must. It's an option. You can blow the money for a day that you really won't remember on stuff that you really aren't going to remember years later, or you can spend the money you need to and then put the rest of that money into something that will help pay you. And so you invest into, but also help pay you to where you get the reward out of it, that at one point, maybe you don't have to have the full-time job anymore. So just my more than 2 cents, but just honestly, just another perspective. We get so used to seeing things like this that we forget to take a step back and look at it from a different angle. So take it for what you will. Spend your money how you want to spend it. I've been married almost 20 years, and knowing what our parents spent towards our wedding, and we're still married and still happy, but knowing what we know now, we didn't need all the other stuff. We could have done it a lot cheaper and saved everybody some money, but also um, we didn't know then what we knew now, right? It's not like we could have changed any of that, but we could have done it a lot cheaper and put the money somewhere else. So just my 2 cents. So if you like the content, or maybe you don't like the content because it's challenging your way of thinking, but if you like the content, consider subscribing to my channel. Hit the like button, head over to Facebook, join my group there called Navigate Your Finances, where I talk about the day-to-day management of your finances as you move from where you are to where your vision, where your dreams exist. So as you go about your day, every day, as you go about things, you are the captain of your ship. Your ship will go exactly where you steer it. So know where you're going and why, and just realize that whatever you want to do, whatever your dreams are, those things aren't going to happen on their own, right? If it could have happened, it would have happened on its own, but it hasn't happened on its own. So you must make it happen. You must be purposeful. You must face your dreams. You must work towards your dreams. And the best way to do that is to learn and continue to improve your response. Be willing to learn, always gain knowledge, be willing to adapt your perspective and adapt your strategy so that you can accomplish your dreams. This is Daniel Young signing off. I will see you all on another video. Bye bye.